with Mario Lopez.
What's up, y'all? Mario Lopez joining me now on Zoom. Four-time Grammy-nominated artist, Mr. Josh Groban. Welcome to the show, Josh. How you doing, man?
Good to see you. I'm well. Thank you.
Nice to see you too, buddy. I'm always interested where people are zooming from. Cool piece of art you got behind you. Are you speaking to us from your home?
I am. Yes, I'm in New York City. Speaking of art, you've got is that a mini you back there? Who is that?
That is a Mario Piñata. If you feel frustrated anytime you're in the studio, feel free to beat on him.
Oh no. I wouldn't want to change. I wouldn't want to scuff him. He's perfect.
Along with
I like his little belt.
The dog bed.
Oh yeah.
Funny. So
we've all gotten to know so much about people from their Zoom backgrounds. I mean, I feel like here we are 2.5 years later, and we're still doing it.
You're exactly right. You got a new podcast on Audible. Congratulations. The Miranda Obsession. So what's it about?
Well, I was asked by my friend Rachel Brosnahan, wonderful Rachel Brosnahan. She produced and stars in this this podcast series, this one-off podcast series. It's a dramatic reading of what they thought these phone calls could have sounded like. This woman Miranda in the 70s and 80s, she kind of conned a lot of guys into falling in love with her, wanting to talk to her every day. Very powerful, very rich guys. This was before the internet, before catfishing started. She would cold call people and just start talking to them and say she knew people, and then got them interested. And she began these long friendships and love affairs with people without ever meeting them, until they all finally realized she wasn't real. And one of those people was Billy Joel, and I'm playing the part of Billy Joel on the podcast. So while the story is true, the conversations were never recorded. Right?
So it's essentially catfishing.
It was catfishing before the internet, before there was catfishing. So she was that charming. She was that witty. These guys loved talking to her, and nobody pressed charges. She didn't commit any crimes. She just lied. And so Billy Joel's talked about it. Did an interview about it in Vanity Fair, and most of the guys, I think, were kind of brokenhearted but moved on with their lives. And this podcast is basically kind of what those calls might have sounded like.
Love me some Billy Joel, as I'm sure you're a huge fan.
You're
an LA guy, right?
I am born and raised in LA, moved to New York probably about 15 years ago, but I'm back and forth all the time.
How's the Long Island accent?
Long Island. Not bad. You know, we whenever you're doing the speaking voice of somebody that you've idolized growing up, I've sung his songs, I've met him. I mean, like, you don't want to cartoon it too much. So being an LA kid,
but that's how he sounds.
I didn't want to do the New York voice too much, you know. So I kind of did it like kind of lightly. I went mid ground because I knew he'd hear it, and I didn't want him to be like, I don't sound like that. So you know, it was fun though, and because it was dramatized, we were able to take a few liberties.
Oh, that sounds so cool! What a fun project! You mentioned one of your co-stars, Rachel Brosnahan. I didn't know she was a singer, because she joined you recently at Radio City Music Hall, right?
She did, and I swear, I'm sure there's a singing voice in there, because we're both theater kids. She's done musical theater. When she came on stage with me at Radio City, we were showing pictures of our childhood, you know, roles in high school and things like that. So I know it's in there. She said, look, I will sing if you want me to sing, but I'm not sure that's something that we should do. So, you know, the cool thing about the Radio City shows was it was very varietal. So there was an interview segment each time, each night. And so the first night interviewed and sang with Freestyle Love Supreme, the improv rap group. And then next night interviewed Henrik Lundqvist, the NHL superstar. And then third night talked to Rachel. And then there were songs in between, but it was a little bit of everything. But no, we did not sing. We just chatted and embarrassed each other with childhood photos.
Got it. Okay, didn't know about that. Well, speaking of singing, you're back on the road this summer, the Harmony Tour. Yeah. I got to imagine after 2 years of not being able to, it must be the best feeling in the world, right?
It's indescribable. I mean, there's a reason why it can't be duplicated. I mean, we have people, you know, stream songs, they steal songs, they put concert clips on YouTube. Nothing matches being in the space. We even did live streams during the pandemic. We did concerts for all around the world, and we had, you know, 90 countries tuning in, but it's just, you don't get the same energy. And so, you know, I released an album in the middle of the pandemic, doing promo from my bedroom, and we never got to do a tour for that album. So we're going out there with Preservation Hall Jazz Band is going to open. They're going to be incredible. And it's all outdoor venues, beautiful venues under the stars. places like Greek Theater and Jones Beach and Red Rocks. And so we're gonna have a blast. I'm just so excited to get out there and jam with my band and sing my face off for the people again.
Gonna have to check out the Greek. That's gonna be a fun show. Speaking of your band,
Yeah.
how big is it? How many musicians do you bring with you? And how do you go about making your set list?
Yeah, it's a band. Most of the musicians that I have in my band I've worked with for almost my entire career. My music director, Tarek, who's on guitar, he's been with me for like 18, 19 years. So it's a lot of guys that I've known forever and we played with forever. There's about 6 people in my core band that we travel around with. And then every venue we are able to use choir members and orchestra members that are local to that venue. And they got all the music beforehand and they rehearse it. So there's always a local element and there's always kind of a freshness to performing with new musicians every single night. And so when everybody's all on stage, there's usually about 50 people out there. So it's a big group of musicians, very eclectic group of songs, obviously stuff from the new album, but then stuff from the whole career. And we choose the set list by kind of starting with one. We throw spaghetti against the wall and say, all right, let's start with this. And then as you sing through it, you're like, that's too many sad songs. Or I think we need a little rhythm here. I think I need a vocal break. I'm going to play the drums on this one, whatever it is. And it just starts to find its way. But then as the shows go on, you change it up each night. That's the beauty of live performing.
Who's your favorite artist to cover when you do cover songs?
My favorite artist to cover.
I always love when I hear other artists do their rendition of certain songs. Sometimes they sound better.
I mean, speaking of Billy Joel, I recorded She's Always a Woman because I was asked to sing that as a tribute to him when he was honored at the Gershwin Prize in DC. And I sang it that night, and then I kept doing it every night. And then when I played the Garden in New York, I had this little stage in the middle of the Garden, and I started playing that song, and it didn't even occur to me in the middle of singing it, but I looked up and saw the Billy Joel jersey hanging from his like 150 shows or whatever he did, and I had to stop and just like give a little teary-eyed speech before singing it. His songs are always incredible to sing, but I always love singing the classics. I love singing the songs that were sung by artists that I grew up listening to, Mel Torme and Sinatra and Judy Garland, and there's just so many timeless melodies that are such a gift to singers.
Oh, absolutely. Want to talk about your foundation real quick?
Thanks.
Fundraising concert this week. Congratulations. What type of work does the foundation do?
Yeah, thanks so much for bringing that up, Mario. We did a fundraiser 2 nights ago. It's called the Find Your Light Foundation, and I am a product of a great public arts education. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the teachers that pulled me out of my shell and gave me those opportunities to quite literally find our light. I mean, truly, so many of us that are in the entertainment industry can relate to that, but also so many people that are in all facets of life and all businesses. Oftentimes will pull me aside and say, look, I'm a lawyer now, or I'm a doctor, or I do this or that. And I say, but it was that theater teacher, it was that choir teacher that made me feel comfortable with myself, helped me see the world, helped me see myself in a bigger, broader picture. So our foundation is a grant giver. We give grants to programs, especially in inner cities and underprivileged areas that need those programs desperately, that are falling through the cracks. They'll reach out and they'll say, we need money to keep these programs afloat. We need instruments. We need paintbrushes. We need to build a stage for a play. And Find Your Light, our duty, and one we were so honored to have, is to make sure that we give those grants to as many places as need them, so that as many kids in those neighborhoods are able to continue having that point of light, that place, because a lot of them are on the fence, and having those programs in schools turns them from being, having problem areas to all of a sudden being in the front of the class, raising their hand. They just needed that expression. So we're really proud of the work we're doing.
Good for you. And you're
Thank you.
Right. So important. I was one of those kids. So it's awesome that you're creating these opportunities. Yeah. Congrats on everything. And I want to make sure people
thank you so much
to the Miranda Obsession, which is on Audible. Josh, thanks for checking in, man. Look forward to seeing you.
I really appreciate it. And they can go to joshgroban.com to get tickets as well. And always great talking to you, Mario. Thank you so much for having me on.
You got it, buddy. Take care.
See ya.
On with Mario Lopez.